He's James. I'm Kyle. Jiffy Lube's a sponsor. I will get to good idea or bad idea in a second, but the 49ers yesterday had their first day of training camp. Couple things from this. One, Trent Williams is holding out. Brandon Ayuk is holding in, so he reported to camp, so he won't get fined, but he's not on the field. Trent Williams is holding out. Trent Williams said, I'm the 9th highest paid offensive tackle in the sport right now. I'm very clearly not the 9th best offensive tackle in the sport right now. I want more money. And so he's holding out. He's at home wherever. I think Texas. I think he lives in Texas.
I think it's okay for Trent Williams because it's not. I mean, look, this is the guy who can walk in and like change everything for your team. And like this is not a Brandon Ayuk situation. Trent Williams knows exactly who he is as a player. He knows exactly how much time he needs to tune up. He knows exactly how much money he wants, and he's probably going to get all of that taken care of, and then some.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. Like,
there's not with Brandon Ayuk. You can have an argument about his value. You can have an argument about, well, they pass this much, his volume's going to be this much, he wants this much, this receiver makes that much, he should fall on it. You can have an argument about his value. With Trent Williams, there's no argument. With Trent Williams, he's the best left tackle in the sport. That is the second most important position on offense. Pay him.
Yeah.
And so he's under contract. It's about guaranteed dollars. With Christian McCaffrey, what they did with Christian McCaffrey's deal was they threw a couple extra million on it and then guaranteed money that he was already going to make.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they do something similar with Trent Williams where he gets a little bit of a pay bump and then they guarantee some of the money knowing that, all right, hey, buckle up, you're playing for the next 3 years. 2-3 years, whatever it is. I think it's 3.
I think Trent Williams I think it's a 3-year, $77 million contract, but it's like 22 million over the next 2 years, and then like 33 in the final year, something like that, where you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, he's not getting any of that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to guarantee a little bit more money the way that DeMar DeRozan did in his deal, where that third year has a bunch of clauses built in that if he reaches this plateau, or the Kings win X amount of games, that he gets that last year guaranteed.
Yeah. And Trent Williams is 36, 37 years old now.
Yeah, get your money.
Yeah, this is going to be your last chance to guarantee real money. And if he has a major injury, knock on wood that he doesn't, but if he does, it might be it. And if he doesn't have any of that money guaranteed, he's leaving money on the table. I think it's a smart move. We talk about this all the time. Get your money. Get your bag.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
because they're not worrying about you the day you walk out of the league
1,000%.
And you're not playing anymore. They're
1,000%.
done worrying about you. So you need to get your money while you have the skill to get it.
I do think it's less complicated than the Ayuk stuff, though.
Totally.
There's maneuvering they're going to have to do, like we talked about with the Kings and the way, okay, how does this move impact this and that? But the Trent Williams thing is a lot less complicated than the Ayuk.
I totally agree.
There's a very clear target, I think, and it's just a matter of them getting there. But the Trent Williams holdout and the Brandon Ayuk hold in are the realities of the situation. Well, the realities of this is what happens when you have a lot of good players. You can't pay everybody, and everybody wants their proper slice of the pie, and there's only so much pie to go around. But this is also the reality of their quarterback situation. This is Brock Purdy's fault. Jokingly. He's played well enough through 17 regular season starts and 6 playoff starts, 5, and then the one he got hurt in. But he's played well enough in those starts that the 49ers are looking at their cap situation and going, hey, we're going to owe this guy $60+ million a year for the next however many years. So we have to act accordingly. So they don't have rookie Brock Purdy making $12 an hour. So they can't go, yeah, Trent, well, here's all this money because that's just money. the guarantees on this contract and the Ayuk contract are going to be about what we would pay a quarterback anyway. So yeah, here, everybody gets paid. Everybody. Like, no, man, Brock is going to get $60 million a year. He's going to be eating up a much larger percentage of the cap. And now that position is going to have that much more money allocated to it, because even Jimmy Garoppolo's deal was like 25 or 26 a year.
Yeah.
Maybe 28. It was less than $30 million a year when he signed it in 2018. It was the highest paid quarterback in the league at that point. Whew. So by the last couple of years, it was pennies for the position. They haven't been paying a quarterback at the top of the market for 5 years now. And they've been able to build out this really good roster.
Yeah.
And now they're at a point where, okay, well, Purdy is due for an extension after this year, and you have to plan accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the NFL is, their salary cap situation is way more complex. There's so many more players, and there's so many more like guaranteed money, non-guaranteed, like, again, impound accounts, all of these things. There's so much more to it. And like the way you can convert a contract from, like a signing bonus contract to a regular, guaranteed money contract, all that stuff. But you have to game plan long term, and I think that's what it's not easy. You're not even going to acquire a player. You have to find a way to clear 35, 40, maybe 50 million in salary for one guy that makes nothing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do it? Like, and it's going to be very complicated, and it's not going to feel good for a couple of players that have been around for a long time. It's going to be very harsh. And it's, I think we talked about the Kyle Shanahan interview with Tim Kawakami yesterday, which again, if you guys haven't listened to that, it's wonderful.
Odyssey podcast, the TK show.
Yeah. The way that he described, Shanahan described it, he's like, well, I can't worry about what Brock Purdy is going to make, because that is the going rate for an NFL quarterback.
Yep.
It's part of doing business in the NFL. If you're going to win and you're going to have a good quarterback, you have to eventually pay that guy. And so whatever the number is, it's going to fit into whatever cap that we have, and it's already been considered how we're going to get there and how we're going to do it. We understand where it's going, and we understand that that's part of doing business in the NFL. Good players cost lots of money, and you have to understand that.
Yep.
So I thought, they're prepared for it.
Yep. Just for reference, the 49ers, which you're right, I think they are prepared for it. I think they've started planning since Purdy's the end of his rookie year. They started looking out and going, okay, what's the quarterback landscape look like? And if he's that dude, how much are we going to owe him? And they've been acting accordingly. But even with that, San Francisco is 38, almost, I'm going to call it $39 million over the projected cap for next year, according to Over the Cap, ironically. And there's things you can do. You can create cap space. You can cut players. You can restructure players. And just for reference, the Raiders are $24.2 million under the cap for next year right now. And they don't even have a ton of cap space for next season, comparatively.
And there's something called carryover, right? So you can carry rollover. So you can roll over some of your salary cap room from this season into next season. Did the Niners even have that though?
Yes. Yeah. The 49ers right now are they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have the 6th most cap space in the NFL right now at $31.4 million. So some of that'll roll over for sure.
Okay.
But also you can't necessarily bank on that. And with Purdy's contract coming, it's not even necessarily about next year, because you can structure the deal where it doesn't kick in until 2026. So you still have a really cheap quarterback next year.
Yeah.
But Brandon Ayuk's looking for a contract that's 3-4 years long.
Yeah.
Trent Williams looking for guaranteed money over the next 3 years. So you have to start looking out. It's a really complicated thing. Bill Barnwell at ESPN, actually, as we discuss this aspect of the 49ers team building, Bill Barnwell at ESPN wrote something today. This extremely long piece.
3 million characters. 5,000 words.
5,000 words. It is incredible. It's a hefty piece of work by Bill Barnwell.
Yeah.
And he just kind of does a deep dive on the Brock Purdy situation. Basically looking at everything we're talking about right now. Just, hey, if they're going to pay this guy $350 million or whatever it's going to wind up being, what does this look like for them? Should they pay him? What's it mean for players X, Y, and Z? All this stuff. And then one of the things he brings up is, would the Niners trade him? And the philosophy is, and to be clear, Bill Barnwell does not advocate for this. He says it in very plain English. I wouldn't do this. I don't think they should do this. I don't think they will do this. But it's kind of an interesting thought exercise in NFL team building, because right now it is the quarterback. You are all about finding the quarterback, because you can get Patrick Mahomes and have James Ham and Kyle Madsen at wide receiver and win the Super Bowl. You can you can build a team around that. But the 49ers have done it a little bit backwards. They've paid Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and Trevarius Ward and Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and they drafted Brandon Ayuk. And here, all of a sudden, they have this loaded team where it's just plug and play with the quarterback. And Barnwell's kind of assertion was, well, they could theoretically trade Brock Purdy this offseason, or the 2025 offseason, instead of paying him, free up all that space, pay Trent Williams, pay Brandon Ayuk, maybe go get a free agent, draft a quarterback, and just try the Brock Purdy thing again. The problem is that's impossible.
Well, it's impossible.
Not impossible, but it's a long shot.
Yeah, finding another Brock Purdy at the back end of the draft it's like nearly impossible. Like
in the front of the draft.
Well, yeah, but the problem is at the front of the draft, it doesn't save you all that much money.
Right.
I mean, look at what some of these guys are making. What did Caleb Williams sign for? $30 million a year?
No.
I thought it was big.
No, I think it was. There's a rookie scale. He can only make X amount of.
It's a rookie scale, but for the first pick, I think it's a lot.
Caleb Williams is making, his cap number is 7.1.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it is a 30. It's a 30. To your point, it is a fully guaranteed $39.4 million deal.
For how many years?
4.
Okay.
4-year contract plus the 5th year option, but that doesn't factor into that. That'll be a set amount. But his highest cap hit is $12.5 million. Having a quarterback on a rookie contract, even as the number 1 overall pick, is super valuable still.
Oh, yeah.
But to that point, there's a requisite level of QB play you need to have, regardless of what your team looks like.
Yeah.
Brandon Allen was not taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl.
No.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Sam Darnold wasn't
taking the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, they had questions about his ability to do that. When you find that guy, you keep him, you pay him.
Oh, I totally agree.
That's basically what Barnwell said.